Hello, my name is Sachiv Mehta, and what I'd like to show you today is Dun & Bradstreet's out-of-the-box integration into Eloqua. The installation process will take you less than 5 minutes, and once you've enabled the D&B Direct for Eloqua solution, you can match and append D&B data right into your Eloqua instance. So let's get right in and show you how it works. The first thing I'd like to point out is that the D&B Eloqua integration works within both Program Builder and Campaign Canvas and is part of your automated marketing automation workflows. So here what you can see is Campaign Canvas. And what I've done is set up a dummy campaign to show you how you can pipe in D&B data right into Eloqua in an automated fashion. As you can see, that there's a set of conference attendees here. So let's say you went to a conference and scanned 1,000 badges, which then you funnel those leads into your Eloqua database. As a best data practice, what we would recommend is that you send those records to our D&B Match and Append connector, where you can send out the basic information you have to D&B and bring back a whole host of rich firmographic and company information. So let me show you how it works. Right, it's a standard cloud connector solution. So right here, you would see the Send to Cloud Connector button. You would just drag that box over as part of your Campaign Canvas workflow, double click, pick the connector, which I've already done, and then click this Configure button. Once you go to the Configure button, you'll be taken out to our configuration page. Right? Here, you'll have your API key and password. You can always click Verify to make sure that it's a valid API key. As you can see, it is. And then you'll have your entity selection. What this is asking you is where do you want to pull the data from and where do you want to map the data back to. The beauty of this solution is you can map some fields to the contact object, others to the account, and then others to the custom object. So you can do 2 of the 3, 3 of the 3, or just 1 of the 3. In this instance, let's use the example where if we're pulling the data from the contact entity, we want to map the data that D&B brings back into the contact entity as well. We'll call the step whatever we want it to call it to remember it, and then we'll set a confidence code. Let's go ahead and press next. And this is where we'll do the data mapping, right? We'll go ahead and do a match and append all in one step. You can do a match just to a D&B DUNS number if you'd like, or you can do the append if you already have the DUNS number and just want to pull back the firmographic data. But in this instance, let's say you don't have any of those and you want to match it to a D&B record and then pull back all the data as well. The other piece that you'll be able to do is if we are not able to find a match, we can still cleanse and standardize your address for you. In this instance, the company name and the country are required. You'll be mapping to your Eloqua database which field you have the company name in and where you have your country ISO code. If you have a state, address, city, or zip, that'll help increase the confidence code when sending the record to D&B. And then below here is the destination mapping. These fields on the left that I've just highlighted in bold, these are all of the fields that are available to you to pull back in from D&B. So you'll have the basic information such as the DUNS number, the company name, the standard address information, but then you'll also have a number of other additional data points such as the year it was started, the number of employees they have, industry information, and revenue information. There's about 100 data points that are available to you, and you can map back whichever records are important to you, and you can leave the ones that you don't care about blank. In this example, you see I've only mapped back a handful of fields, but the ones that a marketer may care about the most, such as the number of employees, the company revenue, and some of the industry information. So once you've done your data mapping, go ahead and press next, and you're done. Right? So within just a few minutes, you've configured the cloud connector to send all of your lead records to D&B for matching to D&B and appending all of that rich D&B data. If you want to make sure things are working right, you can also run a test record through here. So that, in a nutshell, is the D&B Match and Append connector. Now, let's say that you've gotten all that rich data. You've run a segmented email marketing campaign based on that data, right? You could segment the data by the industries they're in for particularized messaging, the employee size of the revenue numbers to focus on small businesses versus enterprise customers. There's a lot of ways you can slice and dice that information and really segment your email marketing to really try to get the highest response rates you can from those leads. So let's say you've run through a campaign and you've had a handful of customers who didn't engage with you. They didn't submit a form on any of the emails, and you say, well, I may have the right company, but I don't think the contact I'm talking to is engaged anymore. Well, there's a couple things you can do with our Cloud Connector solutions to find additional contacts or append additional information on the contacts you do have. So with that, let's go to our Contact Append Cloud Connector. Again, it's right down here. The configuration is the same. You press this config button, it'll take you out to our configuration page. And the initial first page is very similar to the Match and Append connector. You'll have your API key, which you can confirm is valid. You'll have your source entity selection. So where do you want to pull the data from? The contact entity, the account entity, or a custom object? And where do you want to map that data back to? Do you want to create new contacts? Do you want to create associated accounts? Or do you want to create new custom object records? Now, in this connector, you can do two things centered around customer data. The first is you can find new contacts by a DUNS number. What that'll allow you to do is it'll allow you to submit a DUNS number, filter by the roles you care about, and pull back additional contacts to funnel into your Eloqua instance to market to. So let's say that we've ran through that marketing campaign and we just didn't get enough responsiveness from the leads we had. Well, I want to find 10 additional leads at each company I was targeting, and I want all the C-level executives. Well, you see here I've targeted a number of the C-level titles, and I've said I want to pull back 10 records per company. Go ahead and press next. And then you will submit a DUNS number. In our Eloqua database, we have it titled D&B DUNS number. And you'll be able to pull back 10 additional C-level contacts at every DUNS number you were targeting. And we'll bring back the email address, the first name, last name, prefix, the company name, the job title, their management responsibility, their phone number, and the international dialing code if there is one. And you press next, and you're done, right? That's simple. Now, the other piece that this connector does is it allows you to append contact information by email address. What I've heard from a number of Eloqua users is we have a lot of records in our Eloqua database where all we have is an email address and we don't have any other information or very limited information around them. So they can't even find the company that these email addresses are located at, right? So we have a solution for that, and it's called the Append Contact by Email Address option. So again, you press next once you've made that selection. In this instance, you'll be submitting an email address. You select the email address field in your Eloqua database that you want to submit. And if D&B has that email address in our vast contact database, we will pull back the DUNS number, the first name, the last name, the prefix, the company name, and all that standard basic contact information for that contact as well, right? You press next, and you're done. And again, you can also run a test here, and I'll show you how the test works. So let's say that you had my name, my email address in your Eloqua database, and you didn't have any other information about it. Well, this is my email address, and if this is the one you had, you could run a quick test to see if we have it in our database. And there you go. Sachiv Mehta, a product manager at D&B Bradstreet. So it's that simple. So again, think about what we've just done, going back to our Eloqua instance. In just setting up a quick automated workflow, we've taken all of our leads, we've matched them to a D&B record, so now we have a DUNS number around these records, and we know their employee numbers, their revenue numbers, the industries they play in, and a whole host of additional other firmographic data. And then we were able to find additional contacts at those locations to market to if the leads we had weren't being responsive. And then finally, if we had a set of email addresses where we had no information around them, we were able to then find additional information on those leads to have kind of a clear view of what our of what that customer does at that organization around his job title and role, and then we could market to them as well. So this is the basic nuts and bolts of what the D&B out-of-the-box integration does. We also have a lead form enrichment solution and a whole host of other features that are actually coming down the pipe. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your D&B sales rep. If you don't know who that is or don't have one, feel free to reach out to me. My name is Sachiv Mehta at D&B Bradstreet. Thank you.